Joining me now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Senate Majority Leader Senator John Thune. Senator, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Thanks, Maria.
Where do the negotiations stand today?
Well, there's not a lot to negotiate, Maria. It's the Democrats just need to open up the government. Right now, we're at a stalemate. They've now voted 4 times. We give them the opportunity, a clean, nonpartisan, short-term funding resolution that continues government funding for the next 7 weeks. And on 4 occasions now, they voted against it. So they'll get another chance on Monday to vote again, and I'm hoping that some of them have a change of heart. You know, what's happening here is the Democrats are trying to hijack a short-term, nonpartisan, continuing resolution to fund the government merely for 7 weeks to give us an opportunity to get the appropriations process done, to try and get $1.5 trillion of new spending, make health care in this country, free health care available to non-citizens in this country, and guts a $50 billion rural hospital health fund that's designed to support rural hospitals. So that's what they got on the table. That's their proposal. It's a non-starter. It's not serious. It's not reasonable. It's not realistic. Everybody knows that. The Democrats need to come to that realization and understand their option in front of them here is to open up the government, and then we can talk about all these other things they want to have a conversation about.
There are expectations out there from analysts that this shutdown could last weeks, not days. How long are you expecting this to go on?
I think it's just as long as the Democrats want it to go on. I mean, they're the ones, they have the controlling card right now. The House has passed it. The president's prepared to sign it. There are a majority of, United States senators, 55 United States senators, a majority out of the 100, who are for it. All we need is another 5 Democrat senators to join us to get the 60 votes that are necessary to pass legislation in the Senate. So it's a very straightforward proposition. It's simply, are the Democrats going to open up the government or aren't they? And I think right now that's the question before the House. I mean, I hope there are reasonable ones out there. This is a Schumer shutdown. Chuck Schumer instigated this at the behest of a bunch of far-left liberal interest groups. But there are Democrats who are reaching out to Republicans, having conversations about how we might be able to get the government opened up again. So hopefully the reasonable Democrats will prevail there and not follow the lead, or follow the lead of their leader, I should say, and walk down this path of a government shutdown, which is detrimental to the American people, and they know that. And this is a very costly enterprise or endeavor for the Democrats to take, because it really does hurt people across this country, and it's a simple, straightforward proposition to get the government opened up again.
So Monday at 5:30, you'll start with the procedural vote on the Democrats' plan and then the GOP CR. You've already had 2 Democrats that have voted with the Republicans, including John Fetterman, who joined us here last weekend. Have you identified 5 more that you think could actually vote with Republicans already?
There are conversations ongoing, Maria, where Democrats who I think realize this is a losing strategy for them, and it really ends in a dead end, want to find an off-ramp here and are talking to Republicans. And I've had some conversations with Democrats, but I think right now their leadership is stuck because these left-wing special interest groups are so adamant in their desire to fight President Trump. It's sort of this blind Trump derangement syndrome, if you will. They don't want to give the president a victory on anything. This is not giving him a victory on anything. This is simply continuing to fund the government for the next 7 weeks so we can continue the appropriations process. It really is, it's ironic in a way that this is where the Democrats have decided to pick their fight. But I think their liberal left is insisting on it, and so their leadership is being, it's the tail wagging the dog right now. But there are reasonable Democrats out there who are having conversations with Republicans, and I'm hopeful those are going to yield some results. I mean, at the end of the day, all these things that they want to do and that we're talking about, we're happy to have a conversation about, but that can't happen with the government shut down. So it's open up the government and or else. I mean, I think that's really the choice that's in front of them right now.
I know that your colleague, Senator Mike Rounds, has been talking about one idea that would see the subsidies, the Obamacare subsidies, extended for 1 year and then would be followed by a 1-year phase down to return the tax credits to the pre-COVID levels. Is that something that you would support?
Well, as I've said, Maria, and I've said this to anybody who has an idea, that those are all ideas we can talk about, but not while the federal government is being held hostage. Release the hostage. We'll have that conversation. Mike's got a proposal, several other people in our conference, and some Democrats have different ideas about what to do here. But that is a program, by the way, that is desperately in need of reform. You cannot just extend it, flat extend it. It is too flawed. The structurally design on it is a really, really poor return for the American taxpayer.
Senator, when does this become a national security issue? I mean, with government closed, do you worry that this extends into serious worry for national security at some point?
Sure. I mean, obviously, you want your troops to get paid. You get troops that are not worrying. These are important. You know, this is the safety of the American people. You're talking about Border Patrol agents not getting paid, TSA agents not getting paid. You've got programs like, support food assistance for women and children that's being affected by this. At some point, this is going to start having real consequences. And so the administration is having to make decisions right now about how to move money around, which agencies and departments to prioritize in all this. And those are also decisions that are going to be costly to the American people and to a lot of the constituents of Democrats out there who continually vote to keep the government shut down. This is, I mean, right now it's a very straightforward, as I said, proposition. The bill is sitting at the desk in the Senate. All we have to do is get 5 more Democrats to vote yes, the government opens up, and then we can start talking about all these other things they want to have conversations about. And this is a Schumer shutdown. He's under political pressure at home. We all know that. Everybody knows that. And but his rank and file members shouldn't follow his lead on this. This is where you need to separate from your leader and actually do the right thing for your constituents and for your country.
The Wall Street Journal writes it today about a breakdown in trust. Has Chuck Schumer lost the trust of colleagues?
I can't speak for their side. I don't understand their side, and I certainly don't understand this strategy. I've never seen something that seems like such a losing proposition, a losing hand, where you take hostage something you actually like, which is the federal government. This is what the Democrats have done. And but I think that they're having some very robust conversations on their side. I just hope there are enough reasonable Democrats out there who see this for what it is and realize that the only way to get back on track here is to vote to reopen the government, and then we can go to work on all these issues that they want to talk about. Like I said, it's not complicated, and they have to make that decision. It's up to them.
So you think that leadership just wants to fight Trump, just wants to do whatever President Trump wants to do, they want to do the opposite. That was sort of the pushback with getting his nominees across the finish line. You actually had to change the rules. Where are we on the nominees right now?
Well, there's a batch of them that are moving through. We did have to change the rules because, again, they dug in and fought on all of them and decided that they were going to filibuster every one of his nominees, even though every administration prior had the majority of their noms put through by unanimous consent or voice vote, which is a way of expediting their consideration on the floor. And so we were dragging this out, spending enormous amount of time. The Senate had become basically a personnel department where we were doing nothing but processing nominations. So we did change the rules in a way that allows us to consider some of these in batches. And there's about 100 of them that'll come through early next week. On, I think, Tuesday, we're set up to vote to get another 100 of them through. But this is the new business model for the Democrats in the Senate. They have decided to take everything hostage because of their hatred for the president. Wow. And I have to say, Maria, I mean, I don't understand it. It is irrational to me. But there are people on their side for whom this Trump derangement syndrome is borderline pathological. There's just no other explanation for it. They just want to fight everything that the president's trying to get done. Yeah,
it's unbelievable because most people want there to be unity. The people want you to work together. Let me move on real quick before you go, Senator, on Hamas and what has happened here. The president is sending Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the envoys, to Egypt to finalize this hostage release deal after Israel and Hamas apparently are accepting his 20-point proposal with reservations. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, I think that I'm hopeful. We're all very, very hopeful. I mean, please let's get these hostages released. And I give the president and his team great credit for sitting down and being able to work out this, work with the Israelis, work with other neighbors in the region who care deeply about stability and peace in that area of the world. But I mean, I'm skeptical, obviously, as always, of Hamas and any other terrorist organization because, they as a fundamental matter of their charter want to eliminate and wipe out Israel on the map. And I think in the end they need to disarm, and that's something I think that's being asked of them, which we'll see if they're, in the end, willing to follow through on. But let's, give the president credit. Hopefully, this will be a deal that will result in a peaceful outcome in that region and the elimination and obliteration of Hamas and Hezbollah and other terrorist groups that have been wreaking havoc there literally now for decades.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Senator, before we go, I don't see some kind of an action catalyst to actually get the government reopened. It's not like there's a debt limit discussion or, you've got the open enrollment for insurance on November 1st. But is there an action item that could actually swing leadership of the Democrat Party to work with you?
Well, I think eventually everybody starts feeling it in a government shutdown, Maria, and their constituencies are going to feel it. And obviously, as the administration has to make decisions about what they're going to do now to manage the shutdown, that's going to have some impacts. But at the end of the day, it really isn't. To me at least, the real sacrifice here, too, is all the other things we need to be doing. You asked about national security. We've got a defense authorization bill that's supposed to be on the floor, appropriations bills, permitting reform, all kinds of other things that's just been swept aside and hanging in the balance now over this shutdown. So it's really a function not only of opening up the government again, but it's also all the other things that Congress needs to be working on that we're not getting done right now. And I think there will be at some point a triggering action here. I think it's going to get uncomfortable, and nobody likes where we are. But the truth is, they just have left no alternative. As I said, we put this before them. The House has passed it. The president's ready to sign it. It used to be a routine thing. It was done 13 times when the Democrats were in the majority and President Biden was in the White House. We had continuing resolutions, short-term continuing resolutions. This is nonpartisan. We didn't put anything on it. It's no gimmicks, no policy riders, just a straightforward resolution to keep the government open so we can continue the appropriations work that honestly both sides, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, want to do.
So what happens in mid-November after this CR is expiring?
Well, I think we'll face another deadline, but hopefully by then we'll have more appropriations work done. We've got 3 bills passed. They're in conference. If we can get those out of the conference across the floor into law, do a few more, it gets us in the muscle memory of actually doing the business of funding the government again the old-fashioned way, which is in the open and transparent way. Under the Schumer regime, when they had the majority in the Senate, they did all this behind closed doors in Chuck Schumer's office. We've got a different business model, and I think Democrats in the Senate see what we're trying to do, too, is something that empowers and enables them to have a voice in what happens around here. But there'll be another funding deadline. That's why I keep telling Democrats, you'll have another chance. If you want to take the government hostage again, you'll have leverage at that point, too. And I think, like I said, there are conversations happening on both sides right now on the issue of the enhanced subsidies. You can't do something about that without reforming the program because the program it's flawed, it's broken, and it's subsidies to insurance companies who are gaming it in a way that enables them to make a lot of money by enrolling people who don't even know they have coverage. So there are changes we'll have to make in it, but there are some who want to see some program like that continue, and you can't have that conversation until you get the government open.
Of course. Senator, we'll be watching tomorrow night, Monday night, and the vote. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you, sir.
Good to be with you. Thanks, Maria.
And to you. Thank you. Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.